Okay, we're going to be replacing the rear brakes on this Mazda 3S today, and so we're just going to get started using a 13/16 on this. I've got it just jacked up in the back using the center so I can get both sides. And I've also got jack stands on both sides as well. So right now we're just going to get started removing the tire here first. Okay, a few of the tools we're going to need. We're going to have a kit because this is a twist end caliper style, and this I rented this here. It's 27/111. I rented that at AutoZone. You're going to have you a 7mm to get your calipers loose, and I like to use a little screwdriver pry bar to get the spring. So let's just get started. Okay, so the first thing we're going to need to do is get under this here and just start prying one corner of this out, and it's just going to kind of pop up and out of here, and then we'll just do the same thing down here on the lower one. Just get this completely off. Okay, now what we're going to have to do, we get back here with our 7mm. You'll notice you got some little plugs on here. I've already taken the top one off. These will just push right out with your fingernail, and just looks like that. Just set those aside. They're just little dust covers for the top and the bottom. And we're going to go ahead and position our 7mm here, and these are going to be torqued down pretty good, so you'll probably need a little pry bar or something. And we're just going to take these completely out one at a time. Okay, I think we just about got it here. Just going to finish getting it the rest of the way by hand. Okay, so we've got that one completely loose, and it's just going to look like that. And I'm just going to take the top one out here, and it's just the exact same thing. Okay, now with both of those out, we'll just lift off of here, and you'll also want to support it as well. I might actually need both hands. Sometimes it can stick a little bit. Give me just 1 second. Okay, and after some wiggling, I got that removed, and the brake shoes just kind of fell off of it. Now you want to support these a little bit, and you can see that these don't have a lot of life left on them here, so it's getting kind of dangerous. So right now what we're going to do is we're going to have to get position on here to push this caliper back in first. Okay, now here is your caliper that your little tool is going to go into these holes. Now with both cars that I've done in mine, I had to take a 1/4" drill and actually ream these out because they were a little bit just mangled up or whatever, in order to get the tool to go in. So you may have to do that with yours. I don't know, like I said, I just took a 1/4" drill and just free-handed it, and this will just fit, you know, right on there. It's kind of hard for me to do this one-handed, but in addition to that, we're going to take this part and we're going to slide it onto the handle, and it has to fit against this like so. So when we put it up here into position, it's going to basically be on this other side here, and it's going to put pressure against it. So when we go to screwing it in, it's going to be able to force that piston back in. So I'm going to get it set up here. Okay, now here's the tool in the position. You just turn this counterclockwise and make sure that's snugged up against that, and then of course the tool's seated into the slots on the caliper, and we're just going to press this thing completely as far as it'll go. And we're also going to watch our level of our brake fluid, because this is going to have to go back a long ways and we may have to take some fluid out. So we're just going to go ahead and do that right now. Okay, when we go to put this on, you'll notice these springs on the back. Those are clips. What we have to do is slide that lip that's around this piston, get that lip underneath these. So I'm going to need both hands, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with it and push that down, and I'm just going to slide it up, and you'll know it when you get it locked under there, right? Because it won't move. So what we have to do is just get it slid underneath that lip there. Now when we slide that up, we're also going to want to look at the bottom here, and we're going to want to make absolutely sure that that bottom spring has indeed went underneath that lip, because it may try to go on top of it, and if it does, it's going to press the top of the piston, which is what the previous person looked like they had done. So we want to make sure we got that underneath that lip on that bottom clip there too. Now as far as the other one goes, it's pretty straightforward. We're just going to get in the position like so. Now on top of this, I'm going to go ahead and put some grease for these pins here. I'm going to put a little bit of grease around these when I go ahead and slide this back on, and it may take a little bit of wiggling to get this on here, but that's how you'll put that on there, because you need to get this on and make sure it's seated properly before you go to sliding this caliper back on. So right now we're just going to go ahead and put it back into place. If you press that piston back far enough, you won't have any trouble sliding this on. It should just go right on, even with the new pads. Now on top of putting a little bit of slide grease on those pins, I put a little bit of Loctite on them, the threads as well. And I've just replaced the little plastic caps that I showed you that I removed there. So at this point we're going to go ahead and replace this spring, which what I like to do is I'll just get one part of it started. Really not a real easy way of doing it. I just like to get one part started, and I'll get that seated in, and then basically I'll just take this other one and get it up here and try to push this in the position any way I can get it. Okay, when I got that clip in the position, I just kind of finished tapping it the rest of the way. I'd had this on here and kind of had it halfway lined up, and I just finished tapping it into position. So it's fully seated, and now this one's all ready to go. We're just going to check our fluid as needed up by our master cylinder and go ahead and get this wheel back on here. And when I checked it earlier, yes, it's not coming up, so we're still good to go on that. So like I said, it's pretty much everything. So just going to have the tool to push that caliper in, but other than that, just having a 7mm is really not that difficult. And I said thank y'all for watching.